because like many countries in the world, unlike many countries in the world, we have not been exposed really to a large number of different values, different religions, different beliefs, and yet to be able to have respect and understanding and to promote social cohesion is going to be hugely important in the transformed society that we might be talking about. We'll be wanting to celebrate cultures. We will want to have some certainty about where Indigenous people stand. And I might add here that there is quite a lot of uncertainty in New Zealand. No one's quite sure whether the Treaty of Waitangi is in or out. And if it is in, what does it mean? And over the years, for 100 years or more, there has been uncertainty about that. It's not so much the treaty that we're uncertain about. The uncertainty is whether Indigenous people have a particular place in this country, or indeed in any country. And that's a worldwide debate that's going on. I'd hope in 2020 that the Health Promotion Forum has tidied that up. The really important goal, and it's similar to the goal of alliances, but is the goal of integration, and that really health requires holistic philosophies. We can't approach health from a narrow perspective, easy though it would be. It's got to be done from a wide perspective that incorporates spiritual dimensions, physical dimension. I was going to give you the whole wharetapawha, so it's just nearly rolled out automatically. But the health really is holistic, and in order to move towards this transformed society that we're looking at, we have to approach health promotion very much from a holistic point of view. We need to remind ourselves always that the planet needs rehabilitation. We've nearly destroyed it. We have a chance. It's not a forever chance. People are saying that we have a chance within the next century to do something positive about it, or we may lose the opportunity altogether. And again, getting back to the point that we cannot take things that we take for granted, we can't take them for granted forever. We cannot take for granted that we will always have water, or that we will always have water that we can use and that doesn't destroy us. So I think this whole question of rehabilitating the planet, planetary rehabilitation, is going to be a top, if not a major goal for health promotion into the future. The goal of always being ready. The swine flu taught us a little bit of a lesson here. Before that, there was the bird flu. What one was that? SARS. Was it SARS? Remember SARS? I was all set to go to Canada and had my tickets cancelled because there was apparently SARS in Toronto. Turned out that it wasn't. Too late, my ticket had been cancelled. I never got to the conference. But we have to we live in a climate of, we need to live in a climate of being ready for the unexpected. There will be the unexpected. Sometimes it'll be an epidemic, sometimes it'll be a hurricane, at other times it'll be a major earthquake, a tsunami. Increasingly with global change, we can expect the unexpected. And health promotion is also encouraging our communities to be ready for the unexpected and the consequences for health that will follow that. It's quite important to remember as we're thinking forward that one of the foundational goal for health promotion came out of the Ottawa Charter. And the points raised in the Charter, that policies are important for health. I mean, we take it for granted that communities, empowered communities, are really a cornerstone of health. A good health service, a workforce that's capable and able to deal with what's needed. The goals of the health of the Ottawa Charter are still very relevant goals, and celebrating 21 years reminds us of our foundations, and quite a lot of the foundations of health promotion can be found in the Ottawa Charter, so I think we take that with us into the next 21 years. When I say we, talking about 21 years, principally I'm referring to you. We learn all the time from what's happening in other countries. We would be hugely unwise to imagine that New Zealand somehow was different from the rest of the world. We're not different, and no longer are we distant. The technology, if nothing else, has shrunk the world to a few nanoseconds, so that we are very much driven by overseas trends. We can learn from what happens overseas. We can be careful not to repeat things that happen overseas. We've got to be careful of overseas fashions. I mean, the great thing about being part of a global community is that our people have access to the best things in the world. We also need to be careful that in embracing globalisation, we don't substitute the culture of New Zealand for whatever global fashion happens to come along at any one particular time, and that's a risk. So one of the trends is, how do you retain a Kiwi way of doing things and of looking at the world in the face of global cultures and global trends and global fashions? Another goal I heard about this morning, I'd always known about tobacco, but I heard about the program Tupeka Kore, which is a wide-reaching program, and I mention it because it contains a huge number of elements of the fundamental principles of health promotion. And I think that it's quite a good example of a program that is building strength all the time. It's a program which will normalise abstinence. I'm talking about abstaining from tobacco, not abstaining from from everything. It builds on the experience that have been gained in health promotion. It builds on up-to-date knowledge and information, and it emphasises, when necessary, direct action. And we heard some examples of that this morning. The other goal is a huge goal, and that is the goal of social justice. And what has that got to do with health promotion? While there are inequalities between rich and poor, between men and women, between nations, within nations, and while some people are excluded from society while others are included, we have inequalities, and we cannot have health for all. So this a whole question of promoting social justice as a way of reducing inequalities is a fundamental goal for health promotion. And conversely to that, we have to get much better at normalising what is healthy, so that there is no need to go around saying don't smoke, because the world will know that that has been normalised, that anything other than that is abnormal and not tolerable. So we have quite a long way to go, and whether we're talking about nutrition, how do we normalise healthy nutrition? What do we do about McDonald's and KFC? What our attitude to environmental protection? We have to normalise low carbon emissions. That has to become a normal way of life. So there's a huge challenge there, that all of the things we know are right for health have now to become embedded in the human conscience and the public mind and the population of New Zealand, so that they are part of a normal experience. And of course, a key to this is having healthy homes and communities. And family have to be the keystone to this. Family, in the end, are the champions for health. We may think it's ourselves. We're not. In the end, our impact and our influence is momentary. The impact of families with 2, 3, 4 generations has got a time span of 100 years. We are in for a short term. So it's families who, in the long term, will have to be the champions for health. Our task is to help them take up that role and do it well, so that future generations can benefit from their efforts. And important also, I think, for this organisation, as is for any organisation, is what I've called a collegial goal. How in the future, in the next 21 years, will the HFA organise itself, arrange itself, provide training, share knowledge, have an impact on other organisations? How will it remain viable? They're all issues which will be important to the organisation.